What would you do if you lost?
You know, I've already been through this before, and honestly, I don't feel like I lost. I feel like I gained a lot of great experiences. I met a lot of amazing people in the community that I wouldn't have gotten to meet unless I did this experience. So I think anyone that runs for council is a winner because you're advocating for your community and showing that passion and putting yourself out there. So that's my honest opinion. If I'm not successful in this run, I'll ask people what they think I could have done better, improve on that, and then look again at 2017 and hope that I'm in a better position. As far as the community goes, I will continue to be involved. I'd probably look at volunteer positions just like I always have and continue to put myself out there and enjoy all the amazing events we have in Fort McMurray.
Would you rather be a teacher or a counselor?
Luckily, I don't have to make that choice in this election anyways. Right now, the council position is part-time, so I don't have to choose between teaching and being a counselor. Down the road, it might be something I look at, which I don't know how much time I have to commit, that kind of thing. Maybe I want to decrease how much time I'm teaching. I'm not sure, to be completely honest, but right now I don't have to make that choice, and I'm happy about that, and I think I'll be able to balance both.
How will you help the school boards?
You know what, that's an interesting question. I think the best way the municipality can continue to help school boards is by offering amazing programs. So like I mentioned before, Father Turcotte School received a learning garden, and that was actually through the municipality. So they gave us the garden boxes, they gave us the soil, and we actually got to talk to local experts like Crystal DeRosa. So she came in, talked to the kids, gave some input, which was fantastic. And I think those kind of programs are so important. So school boards are actually operated on a provincial government level, but municipalities can help lend their expertise. So getting people to come in and speak about waste management, recycling. There's a vermicomposting expert, so worm composting expert at the municipality. So kind of doing little mini secondments where they get to go in and lend just their experiences and expertise to the students. I think that's a fantastic way to continue supporting the school boards in Fort McMurray.
Do you want any new laws in Wood Buffalo?
For me personally, I have 2 cats I've adopted from the SPCA, and reading about some of the animal cruelty cases we've had locally, I'd like to see tougher animal cruelty laws. So either changing the bylaws so that there's a bit tougher penalties for people that are maliciously, like intentionally causing harm to animals, I think would be something that would be really helpful in our community. We have a lot of people who have to change their living situations often, and sometimes it seems like their pets suffer in that exchange. So even encouraging landlords to have pet-friendly agreements or something. I don't know. I really think we should be doing a better job of protecting animals that can't protect themselves. And I'd like to aid the SPCA in doing that in any way I could.
Are there any bylaws that you disagree with?
You know, I combed through the bylaws on the Wood Buffalo website, and there weren't any that really stood out to me as problematic. The biggest issue for me personally is bylaw enforcement. So there seems to be a lot of inconsistencies in the enforcement of certain things. I faced that as a candidate in the last election, certain rules about signs that weren't enforced for some, it seemed like. So it's kind of just, I realize how it can be frustrating for people if they're getting calls about parking and they see a neighbor down the street not getting any calls. So that to me is the biggest thing. How can we make sure that enforcement is consistent, that it's fair across the board, and that there's easy ways for people to report things. So I know they have a Ping Street app that you can report potholes and graffiti, that kind of thing. So maybe expanding that to other bylaw issues might be an idea if it's not already applicable.
What new services would you like to see offered to the Wood Buffalo residents?
Personally, I live in a condominium, and right now recycling is not an option at my condo. So I'd like to see if the city could figure out a way to make that accessible. I know they're starting to talk about making it available at the schools, which I think is fantastic, but as a condo owner, I would like it to be easily accessible. I can't fit a lot of recycling in my Beetle, imagine. So another thing I'd like to see is water and sewage in the rural community. So we've been hearing a lot in the news that there's some areas that are still having troubles with this, and it's kind of amazing to hear that some people are almost living in third world conditions when we're in Canada. So what needs to be done so that they get the services they need, and if there's a problem, how can there be a fast response? It's so important. It's just something that blows my mind to hear that there's still problems like that occurring. And another one I'd like to see is community garden initiatives. So not the city just putting in green space, putting in gardens and tending to it, but putting in gardens that the community can be a part of. So maybe a neighborhood applies and they take on that area and take care of it, and it's something they can be proud of. They can learn about gardening and just really take ownership of that area. So those are a few things I'd like to see and offered in the community.